Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor. Well, situation in Jammu and Kashmir continues to be our top focus as fresh violence rocks Kashmir. Now, death toll has mounted to 23. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will review the situation in a cabinet meet today. We'll get you all the details. Let us take a look at the other stories in the headlines. Prime Minister to review situation in Kashmir following spiralling violence that has claimed 23 lives so far. Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti says some elements are hell-bent on fomenting trouble. India directs Pakistan to stop interfering in internal matters after Pakistan Prime Minister issues statement expressing shock over Hizbullah militant Burhan Wali's killing and civilian deaths following protests. Prime Minister returns home after wrapping up his four-nation Africa tour. On last leg of tour, holds talks with Kenya President. 7-pact signed between two nations. Theresa May to take over as new British Prime Minister on Wednesday. Only rival in race to become Conservative Party's leader, Andrea Leadsom, pulls out. And an international tribunal set to deliver verdict on South China Sea dispute. Philippines had petitioned a tribunal challenging China's claims on the whole region. The top story this morning, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will chair a high-level meeting today to review the situation in Jammu and Kashmir. Now, there has been spiralling violence in the valley between security forces and protesters in the aftermath of the killing of Hizbul Mujahideen terrorist Burhan Wani. Now, 23 people have been killed so far in the violence, though unconfirmed reports put the death toll at 31. Well, ahead of the Prime Minister's meeting, Home Minister Rajnath Singh chaired a meeting with the senior union ministers and officials. The suggestion during the meeting was a judicious use of forces by the security forces. Now, the meeting with Rajnath Singh was also attended by Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley, NSA Ajit Doval, who also cut short his Africa visit by a day. Now, all forces were asked to ensure the security of Amarnath pilgrims and enhance the vigil along the border to check fresh attempts of infiltration from across the border. The Home Minister also reached out to the opposition leaders, including Congress Chief Sonia Gandhi and former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah, and parliamentary leaders of all parties, and discussed the prevailing situation in the state. Well, India has sent out a strong message to Pakistan asking it to stop interfering in its internal matters. Now, reacting to Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif's statement expressing shock over Burhan Wani's killing, India said that Islamabad's continued attachment to terrorism stands exposed.
India sending out a strong message to Pakistan to not intervene in its internal matters. MEA spokesperson Vikas Swarup speaking from Nairobi after a statement from the office of the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Nawaz Sharif, calling slain Hizbul Mujahideen militant Burhan Wani a Kashmir leader. India saying Pakistan's statement only highlighting its continued attachment to terrorism.
जम्मू और कश्मीर पर हमने पाकिस्तान के बयानों को देखा है। इन बयानों से ये स्पष्ट है कि पाकिस्तान निरंतर आतंकवाद के साथ है और उसे अपनी राष्ट्र के नीति के रूप में इस्तेमाल करता है। हमारी पाकिस्तान को सलाह है कि वो अपने पड़ोसियों के आंतरिक मामलों में हस्तक्षेप न करे।
Nawaz Sharif's office in the statement also expressed deep shock at Wani's killing. The Pakistan Prime Minister's office also blaming Indian military and paramilitary forces for alleged use of excessive and unlawful force against civilians protesting against Wani's killing. The statement further added, oppressive measures such as these cannot deter the valiant people of Jammu and Kashmir from their demand of exercising their right to self-determination in accordance with the UN Security Council resolutions. Pakistan, however, did not stop at issuing statements. Foreign Office summoned Indian High Commissioner Gautam Bambawale and conveyed Islamabad's serious concerns over the killing of Wani and death of civilians.
आज कश्मीर में सड़कों पर नहत्ते कश्मीरी हैं जिनको कुचलने के लिए और उनकी आवाज को दबाने के लिए बंदूक का बेदरेग इस्तेमाल किया जा रहा है। इन तमाम वाकयात की पाकिस्तान ने भरपूर मजम्मत की है।
The United Nations Secretary General expressed concern over the prevailing situation in Jammu and Kashmir. The United States said Kashmir is an internal matter of India. Washington asked all stakeholders to make efforts towards finding a peaceful resolution of tensions. Mumbai attack mastermind Hafiz Saeed also waded into the diplomatic spat and welcomed the statements of Pakistan's foreign ministry and the Prime Minister. Saeed said the Pakistan government should raise the issue at the international level. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, a curfew remained in force for the third consecutive day on Monday in the aftermath of the violence sparked by the death of Burhan Wani, a commander of the Hizbul Mujahideen. The violent protests have so far left 23 people dead and over 250 injured. However, the Amarnath Yatra, which had been suspended for over 2 days, resumed from the Jammu base camp yesterday.
Life in Kashmir continues to remain paralysed following heightened tensions over the killing of top Hizbul commander Burhan Wani last week. While curfew continues in Tral, Pulwama, Anantnag and 7 police station areas of Srinagar, mobile internet services have been suspended. There were sporadic clashes in parts of Srinagar in North and South Kashmir on Monday. A police station in Sopore was torched by a mob, while the Air Force airport in Pulwama and other security installations in Kashmir also came under attack.
आज 3 दिन का हम बहुत लोग परेशान है। ये गवर्नमेंट की चाल है, कर्फ्यू लगाओ और मारपीट करता है और मारता है। ये उनको थोड़ा सब्र करना है। अगर कोई किसी को बेटा मर जाएंगे वो क्या देखेंगे, मगर कम से कम इनको हिरासा करना है। ये पत्थर वत्थर मारता है मगर इनको ये गोली चलाता है।
800 additional central paramilitary forces are being rushed to Jammu and Kashmir. The reinforcements are in addition to 1,200 personnel which were sent by the centre on Saturday. Meanwhile, the Home Minister held a review meeting on Monday and even reached out to opposition leaders including Congress Chief Sonia Gandhi and former J&K Chief Minister Omar Abdullah and discussed the prevailing situation.
It is a situation which calls for concern, but at the same time, I'm sure the state government, the security agencies, with the absolute cooperation from the central government, are dealing with the situation seriously, sagaciously and judiciously, and very soon the situation will come back to normal.
पुलिस दल है, पैरामिलिट्री है, सेना है, इन सब लोगों का मनोबल बढ़ाने के साथ में ऐसे अलगाववादियों को समाप्त करने के लिए, विचारधारा को भी आगे न बढ़ने के लिए सभी पार्टियों से संबंध प्रस्तापित किया जा रहा है और सभी से भी एक साथ काम करने की अपील की जा रही है.
The centre also appealing to the media to exercise restraint while reporting on killing of militants.
I appeal to all media agencies across the country to exercise restraint while reporting on killing of terrorists. One should not create sympathy for terrorism. Terrorist is a terrorist, is an anti-national.
In Srinagar, Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti met members of civil society. She said sub-elements are hell-bent on fomenting trouble and mayhem in Kashmir. She added vested interests are playing with the lives of innocent youth. In Jammu, both the NPP and the Congress staged protests against the state government over the deteriorating law and order situation. Congress President Sonia Gandhi in a statement conveyed her concerns over the loss of lives, but also added that there cannot be any compromise on matters of national security. The CPIM also urged the centre and the Jammu and Kashmir government to call an all-party meeting.
The law and order has totally collapsed in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, and government is nowhere to be seen.
The annual Amarnath pilgrimage has now resumed after it was put on hold following the ongoing violence.
कि ऐसा है कि यात्रा जो है उसको हम रिज्यूम जो है करने का डिसीजन लिया है एक कश्मीर पुलिस के कोऑर्डिनेशन से हमने ये फैसला लिया है और अभी जो स्टैंडर्ड यात्री हैं या व्हीकल्स हैं रामबन से लेकर कठुआ तक आज हम कोशिश करेंगे उनको क्लियर करने का.
Violence erupted in the state after 21-year-old poster boy of the Hizbul Mujahideen Burhan Wani was killed in a police encounter on Friday. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, on to some other news now. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi returned home earlier today after his four-nation Africa tour aimed at enhancing ties with the continent. On the last leg of his visit, Prime Minister visited Kenya. Modi had also visited Mozambique, South Africa and Tanzania.
India and Kenya have signed 7 agreements to deepen cooperation in a wide range of areas. Prominent among these are MOUs in the field of defense and security and avoidance of double taxation.
MOU on defense cooperation signed just now would strengthen our institutional cooperation between our defense establishments. This will include greater staff exchanges, sharing of expertise and experiences, training and institution building, cooperation in hydrography and supply of equipment.
India will also build a cancer hospital in Kenya to provide quality and affordable healthcare. The Prime Minister handed over 30 field ambulances and a model of Bhabatron to Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta. Bhabatron is a state-of-the-art nuclear medicine cancer therapy machine developed and manufactured in India.
I understand that healthcare is President Uhuru's key priority. India can join hands with your priorities to shape an affordable and efficient healthcare system in Kenya. This would not only meet the needs of your society, it could also help Kenya become a regional medical hub.
The Kenyan President expressed gratitude for India's assistance and assured Prime Minister Modi that he would personally follow up on the implementation of the decisions taken.
I look forward to the completion of such an institution which would bring quality and affordable cancer treatment much closer to our citizens, and this is a much needed facility here in Kenya, and for this Prime Minister we are truly grateful. Thank you very much.
Later in the day, the Prime Minister addressed the India-Kenya Business Forum in the capital Nairobi and called for stronger bilateral business ties.
You may be knowing that we have launched Make in India campaign to make India a global manufacturing hub. Similarly, you have launched Make It Kenya to promote business and holiday opportunities. In fact, the two can become complementary.
The Prime Minister also addressed the Kenyan students and met with members of the Bharatwala Alumni Association, an alumni association of Kenyan students who studied in Indian institutions over the last many years. The Prime Minister also paid tribute to Kenya's first president, Jomo Kenyatta, at his mausoleum in Nairobi. This was the first visit by an Indian Prime Minister to Kenya in more than 3 decades. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Moving on in the bulletin, well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has warned that preachers of hate and violence are threatening the fabric of the society. In comments that assume significance amid the controversy surrounding Islamic preacher Zakir Naik, the Prime Minister also appeared to be hitting out at Pakistan as he emphasized that those giving shelter to terrorists and using them as political instruments should be condemned. Meanwhile, Zakir Naik, who was supposed to return to Mumbai from Saudi Arabia on Monday morning, has cancelled his return. He was scheduled to address a press meet via Skype that also stands cancelled. He later released a statement from abroad saying that no Indian government agency has so far contacted him over the allegations levelled against him. Naik has come under the scanner after reports emerged that 2 of the Dhaka terrorists were allegedly inspired by his speeches. Leaders cutting across political lines have condemned Naik's Islamic preachings and demanded that his Peace TV network be dismantled.
I would advise the government machinery to examine his speeches in the context of provisions of Indian Penal Code. There are many provisions in the Indian Penal Code which deal with hatred between communities and similar aspects which are serious offences. Hatred between one religion and another religion, one community and another community. If there are some speeches in this context, according to me, he should book under those provisions of IPC.
जाकिर नायक को साफ तौर पे नजर आ रहा है कि गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने 9 इन्वेस्टिगेशन टीम्स बना ली हैं जो उसके हर पहलू को बहुत अच्छी तरह से छानबीन कर रही है।
जाकिर नायक का बारे में बहुत सारे तथ्य उठ के आया और इनका ये जो बांग्लादेश का हमला है इसमें उनका जो स्पीच है उनका पीछे से कोई ईंधन है कि नहीं उसको देखना पड़ेगा, लेकिन इसमें बात सच है जो कुछ ना कुछ उनका हाथ इसमें है। इसलिए भारत सरकार इसको छानबीन कर रहा है और मैं समझता हूं जिसमें कोई छूट नहीं होना चाहिए, कड़ा से कड़ा कदम उठाना चाहिए।
सरकार उस मामले को अपने हाथ में लिए हुए है और जब तक सरकार की तरफ से सारे मामले में जांच होकर के देश के सामने नहीं आएगी तो वो सारी बातें जो है वो सरकार पार्लियामेंट में इसमें बयान करेगी, उस समय देखा जाएगा।
आणि भूमिका स्वच्छ आणि स्पष्ट आहे। न्यायाची जी पट्टी तुम्ही इतर धर्मियांना लावताय, खास करून हिंदू धर्मियांना लावता आहात, हिंदू धर्मियांवरती जे काही संशय व्यक्त केले जात आहेत आणि त्यांच्या मागे जे काही चौकशीचं एक शुक्लकाष्ठ लावलं जातं तसं आता तर उघड झालेलं आहे की समाजामध्ये अशांतता कोण पेरतं आहे आणि कोण फैलावत आहे।
In Breakfast News, we'll take a very short break here. We'll be back with more news. Stay with us. Welcome back. Let's bring you the weather update. And monsoon has covered the entire country with 89% of it receiving normal to excess rainfall. The Met Department says that around 26% of the country has recorded excessive rainfall, leading to floods in several places. Now, 7 more persons died in flood-related incidents in Madhya Pradesh, taking the toll to 22. 4 people also died in the Nandarbar district of North Maharashtra in the last 24 hours. Here is a report.
If June was a disappointment as far as rainfall is concerned, the month of July is more than making up for it. Excessive rainfall has triggered floods in several parts of the country, including in Maharashtra, Assam, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat and Uttar Pradesh.
पिछले 24 घंटे में गंगा जी में और यमुना जी में जो जलस्तर में काफ़ी तेज़ी से वृद्धि हुई है। यमुना जी में चूँकि एमपी एरिया में काफ़ी बारिश हुई है और बाढ़ की काफ़ी ख़राब स्थिति रही है, तो जो ट्रिब्यूटरीज हैं यमुना जी की उनका पानी कल दोपहर से ही बढ़ना बहुत तेज़ी से आना शुरू हो गया और उसमें बहुत तेज़ी से इजाफा हुआ है। गंगा जी का पानी चूँकि नरोरा बराज और कानपुर बराज से काफ़ी मात्रा में पानी छोड़ा गया है।
In Madhya Pradesh, the death toll has risen to 22 after 7 more people were killed in flood-related incidents, while the number of those affected by floods in the state has crossed 1 lakh. Many rivers, including Narmada and Betia, are flowing above the danger mark and floodwaters have entered many cities. Heavy to very heavy rains are likely to lash Indore, Ujjain, Hoshangabad and some parts of Bhopal. Essential services like water and power supply have been badly affected.
पिछले 24 घंटे में करीब 1450 लोगों को तो हमारा होम गार्ड और एसडीआरएफ के द्वारा बचाए गए हैं और करीब 375 टीमें अभी काम कर रहा है इसमें बचाव कार्य में और खासकर जो है विदिशा, रायसेन, छिंदवाड़ा, बैतूल और बालाघाट इस एरिया में अभी काफ़ी स्थिति खराब है, तो वहाँ से काफ़ी फ़ोने हमारा जो 1079 में आ रहा है, तो जहाँ जहाँ फ़ोन आ रहा है वहाँ टीमें रवाना कर रहा है और करीब 20,000 लोगों को सुरक्षित जगह में पहुँचाए गए हैं।
Normal life in Maharashtra's Nashik district was thrown out of gear when 991 mm of rainfall fell in just 24 hours. This has triggered floods in the Godavari river and lifted the water level in Gangapur Dam and other reservoirs. The Met Department has predicted heavy showers in the next 24 hours. 4 persons were killed as a house collapsed in a village in Nandurbar. The situation is bad in Assam too. The Brahmaputra is flowing above the danger mark and has submerged 60% of the Pobitora Wildlife Sanctuary and damaged around 50% of its infrastructure. Several tributaries of the river have inundated over 100 villages. At least 6 districts of the state are badly hit by floods, affecting over 1.3 lakh people. Over 7,000 hectares of cropland is also badly damaged. Chief Minister Sarbanand Sonowal reviewed the situation and asked officials to gear up relief operations on war footing.
খালি বানপানীৰ উটি আহি ইয়াত আছোহি নিজৰ ঘৰে আহি থাকিবলগীয়া হৈছে তাত ঘৰ দুৱাৰ সকলো বস্তু পানীতে পৰি আছে আমি মানুহগৰাকী আছো আৰু বামত আহি
The Met Department says a low pressure area is building up over Gujarat and is expected to bring some rainfall over the state in the coming days. A low pressure is also building up over Odisha. The Weather Department also warns of heavy rains in isolated places over Assam, Meghalaya, Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram and Tripura. Punjab, Bihar, Haryana, Delhi and UP too are likely to receive fairly widespread light to moderate rains in the coming days. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, in related news, at least 39 cases of dengue have been reported in the national capital this year, with 11 of those recorded in the month of July. The disease last year claimed 60 lives in the city, with nearly 16,000 cases reported, while more than 10,000 cases and 423 deaths were reported due to a dengue outbreak in 1996. Over 6,000 cases and only 8 deaths were reported in 2010. Now, of the total number of cases this year, 7 were reported from areas outside the jurisdiction of the 3 municipal corporations. Union Health Minister JP Nadda has directed heads of all the hospitals to ensure that their premises are mosquito-free. The Health Minister also gave these instructions at a review meeting held on the preparedness to deal with dengue.
प्रिवेंटिव पार्ट में एमसीडीज और एनडीएमसी को ये कहा गया है कि वो कॉरपोरेटर्स के साथ मिल करके अपनी सर्विलेंस को बढ़ाएं ताकि जहां डेंगू के मच्छर और लावा इसका जहां जर्मिनेट करता है उसको हम रोक सकें और उसके लिए हम एक्टिव आईईसी का भी हम करें। इसमें जो टेस्टिंग फैसिलिटी है उसकी प्राइस कैपिंग की जाए और दिल्ली सरकार ने माना है, पिछले साल भी किया था, इस साल भी वो करेंगे।
And now our top international focus. Well, Theresa May will on Wednesday become the Prime Minister of Britain, succeeding David Cameron. Now, she has the big task of leading Britain into Brexit talks. Well, her climb to the top came after the unexpected withdrawal of the only other candidate in the race. Here are all the details.
I'm also delighted that Theresa May will be the next Prime Minister. She is strong, she is competent, she's more than able to provide the leadership that our country is going to need in the years ahead, and she will have my full support.
David Cameron announced on Monday that he would resign as Prime Minister on Wednesday, paving the way for Interior Minister Theresa May to take over the job the same day. May was left as the only contender standing after the withdrawal from the leadership race of Andrea Leadsom.
I am honoured and humbled to have been chosen by the Conservative Party to become its leader. I would like to pay tribute to the other candidates during the election campaign, and I would like to pay tribute to Andrea Leadsom for the dignity that she has shown today. I would also like to pay tribute to David Cameron for the leadership that he has shown our party and our country.
May will be tasked with leading Britain into Brexit talks. She wants to begin formal talks to leave the EU by the end of the year at the earliest, despite pressure from Brussels to speed up.
Brexit means Brexit, and we're going to make a success of it. There will be no attempts to remain inside the EU. There'll be no attempts to rejoin it by the back door, no second referendum.
Meanwhile, the European Commission has said that Britain's exit from the EU is likely to reduce Eurozone growth by a cumulative 0.3 to 0.5% compared to previous estimates over the next 3 years.
We expect the increased uncertainty to reduce UK GDP by about 1 to 2.5% by 2017 compared to a baseline of remaining, and also in the EU. Rest of the EU and the EU area, it would be about 0.2 to 0.5 points by 2017.
The European Commission once more insisted that the UK should speed up the process of exiting the EU. The United Kingdom chose to exit the EU after a majority of British voters chose leave over remain in the country's EU referendum on 23rd June. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And an international 5-judge tribunal appointed by the Permanent Court of Arbitration is set to deliver a verdict on the Philippines' petition challenging China's claims on almost all of the South China Sea. Well, the verdict is expected to threaten China's expansive claims. Ahead of the verdict expected today, China has activated 4 out of the 5 lighthouses planned for use in the South China Sea. Now, China says the lighthouses are important public service facilities in the South China Sea. The petition by the Philippines challenges China's 9-dash line that it uses to claim virtually the entire South China Sea, and which Manila opposes because it infringes upon its own 200-mile exclusive economic zone. Now, besides Philippines, China's claims are contested also by Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei and Taiwan. China has meanwhile boycotted the proceedings of the tribunal constituted under the UN Convention on the Law of Seas, saying that it is illegal and its verdict is not binding on it. Now, China has already built artificial islands, and one of it has an airstrip and other facilities as well. Beijing says that it has more support over its stand on the matter.
刚刚开始的7月份为例，在不到10天时间，除了柬埔寨以外，还有安哥拉、利比里亚、马达加斯加、巴布亚新几内亚、塞内加尔。
Well, that will be the big verdict that we'll be taking a look at through the day. And with this, it is the wrap on this edition of News. Thanks for watching.